Hi there, this is Kay from Essential Korean. 안녕하세요, Essential Korean K쌤입니다. In this episode, we continue our series on particles with the particle 만, meaning only. And I do have a song for us to listen to today, titled Maria, meaning I'm saying, by 이홍기. The song is from a classic drama many of you may know, 상속자들, The Heirs. Finally, we have a special announcement at the end of today's episode, so stay tuned until the end. Are you ready for another episode? Let's get right to it. The particle 만 immediately follows a noun phrase and simply means only. Let's go through one example. You are at an Italian restaurant with your colleagues and you are all choosing what to order. Your reputation as a picky eater precedes you, and so your colleagues single you out and ask what you will have. How would you say, I only eat pasta and I only drink white wine? Using the 만 particle? 나는 파스타만 먹어요. I only eat pasta. 그리고 화이트 와인만 마셔요. And I only drink white wine. If we were to get rid of the 만 particle, the sentence would be 나는 파스타 먹어요, meaning I eat pasta, and 나는 화이트 와인 마셔요. I drink white wine. Without the 만, there is no indication of exclusivity with your preference for pasta and white wine. Let's repeat. I only eat pasta and only drink white wine using the 만 particle. 나는 파스타만 먹어요. 그리고 화이트 와인만 마셔요. 나는 파스타만 먹어요. 그리고 화이트 와인만 마셔요. 나는 파스타만 먹어요. 그리고 화이트 와인만 마셔요. Let's go through a few more examples. Let's say you're taking a Korean class at the local community college after work, and one of your peers asks which classes you are taking at the college. He asks, 수업 뭐 들어요? Where 수업 is class, 뭐 is what, and 들어요 is to take, which in this case refers to the class. If you were to answer that and say, I'm only taking a Korean class using the particle 만, what would you say? You would say, 저는 한국어 수업만 들어요, where the particle 만 follows the noun phrase 한국어 수업 to signify only Korean class. Repeat after me to say, I only take Korean class. 나는 한국어 수업만 들어요. 나는 한국어 수업만 들어요. 나는 한국어 수업만 들어요. Let's imagine a new situation with a slight twist. You've told your Korean class peers that your company is paying the tuition for any class of the employee's choice as part of a professional development program, and you chose the Korean class. One classmate asks, 한국어 수업은 몇 명 들어요? How many people are taking the Korean class? 한국어 수업은, as for the Korean class, 몇 명, how many people, 들어요, taking. Pretend to be the classmate for a second and ask the question to find out how many are taking Korean class. Repeat after me. 한국어 수업은 몇 명 들어요? 한국어 수업은 몇 명 들어요? 한국어 수업은 몇 명 들어요? Now, how would you answer if you are the only one taking the Korean class using 만? Where do you place the particle 만? You are correct if your answer is 한국어 수업은 나만 들어요, in which the particle 만 is added after 나, I, making the meaning As for the Korean class, only I take it. Please repeat after me to say the sentence. 한국어 수업은 나만 들어요. 한국어 수업은 나만 들어요. 한국어 수업은 나만 들어요. By the way, if you placed 만 after 한국어 수업 and had 한국어 수업만 저 들어요, or 저 한국어 수업만 들어요, then you are alternatively saying only the Korean class I take. Thus, placing the particle right after the noun relevant to the meaning is critically important. Should I give you a sentence with a step up in the difficulty? What would be the meaning of the sentence 저만 한국어 수업만 들어요? It means I am the only one who is taking only the Korean class. In other words, there may be other people who are taking a few classes, but I am the only person who is taking only one class, which is the Korean class. One more example. Imagine we are at a live meetup and I ask you what aspect of the Korean language is most difficult. 한국어 뭐가 제일 어려워요? 한국어, the Korean language, 뭐, what, followed by the particle 가. And 제일, most, 어려워요 is difficult. Putting this all together, again, 한국어 뭐가 제일 어려워요 means what aspect of the Korean language is most difficult. For a moment, assume the role of me, Teacher K or K-Sim, and ask the question yourself. Please repeat after me. 한국어 뭐가 제일 어려워요? 한국어 뭐가 제일 어려워요? 한국어 뭐가 제일 어려워요? Since we are on the topic of the live meetup, thank you to everyone that showed up. It was a lot of fun meeting you all and being able to practice live. Future events are posted on the calendar, so if you missed it, you can always check there. Okay, back to the lesson. Let's say you are good with everything but the sticky Korean grammar that fills your nightmares and causes hours of frustration. How would you answer the question? 한국어 뭐가 제일 어려워요? Knowing 한국어 문법 means Korean grammar? You are right if you answered 저는 한국어 문법만 어려워요. 저는 한국어 문법만 어려워요. 저는 means as for me, 한국어 문법 means Korean grammar, followed by the exclusive particle 만, and 어려워요 means is difficult. Let's practice to say, as for me, only Korean grammar is difficult. 저는 한국어 문법만 어려워요. 저는 한국어 문법만 어려워요. 저는 한국어 문법만 어려워요. Please remember that the particle 만 will replace the topic particle, the subject particle, and the object particle, namely 은는, 이가, and 을을. It is not to be used with those particles. Thus, you can say 저는 샐러드를 먹어요. I eat salad. Or 저는 샐러드만 먹어요. I eat only salad. But you cannot say 저는 샐러드를만 먹어요. Similarly, you can say 제 친구는 이메일을 써요. My friend writes emails. Or 제 친구만 이메일을 써요. Only my friend writes emails. But you cannot say 제 친구는만 이메일을 써요. To mean only my friend writes an email. Now let's look at the song for today's episode. You know the drill. Love songs are the best for teaching Korean. And the best songs to represent only would of course be about a guy looking at just one girl. A lot of our original K-drama fans may get nostalgia listening to this piece. It's a highlight song for a classic K-drama, 상속자들, or The Heirs. The song's name is Maria, meaning I'm saying, and you'll find man to be paired up with 너 at the beginning of the lines, meaning only you. Our quick note on the word 너. 너 is the Korean pronoun you, but you should not equate 너 with the English you. 너 has a relatively limited usage in Korean. It's only used to someone with whom you talk to in 반말, the intimate speech style, and to someone who is the same age or younger than you. It's very important that you remember these and use the pronoun 너 with discretion. Let's first listen to the song. Pay attention to the new particle 만 as well as the 을을 particle for review, and the phrase Maria, which means I'm saying.
너만 보인단 말이야 널 사랑한단 말이야 눈을 감아도 너만 보인단 말이야 너만 부른단 말이야 널 사랑한단 말이야 입을 막아도 너만 부른단 말이야.
With Maria repeated in each line, you see and feel how much the guy is trying to be heard, of course, by the girl in his heart. Let's look at how 만 and other particles are used, going line by line. 너만 보인단 말이야. 너만, only you. 보인단 말이야. I'm saying I see. So bringing these parts together, you get 너만 보인단 말이야. I'm saying that I see only you. The key takeaway here is that adding the particle 만 to the pronoun 너, meaning you, becomes only you. The next line. 널 사랑한단 말이야. 널, the contraction of the pronoun 너, which means you, and the object particle 를. 사랑한단 말이야. I'm saying that I love. So, bringing these parts together, you get 널 사랑한단 말이야. I'm saying I love you. What do you think the 를 in 널 does here? It marks that 너, you, is the object of this line, which means that 너, you, is not the doer of the action, but rather the person on the receiving end. This makes sense. The girl who is the you is on the receiving end of the guy's love. One takeaway from this, once again, is that the word order in Korean is not fixed, but with particles, we can anticipate, expect, and draw meanings with what's going to come later in the sentence. In this case, the 을을 particle prepares the listener to expect an action affecting the 너. 널 사랑한단 말이야 means I'm saying that I love you. Moving on to the next line. 눈을 감아도. 눈 means eyes, followed by the object particle 을, making 눈 to be the object of the verb. 감아도, even when I close. Together, 눈을 감아도 means even when I close my eyes. Notice how in the Korean, there's no mention of I or my with 내 or any other way to say I. But in the English translation, we included the pronouns. This is because those can be omitted in the Korean language when they are implied in the context. You may have also noticed there's a 도 in the 감아도. But be careful if you thought this to be the particle though. In this case, 도 is not the particle, but it's part of the verb conjugation to mean even though or even if. Now, the lines begin to repeat. 너만 보인단 말이야. I'm saying I see only you. This is the same as the first line, except Maria is cut down to Maria as a natural contraction. The next line, which is a repeat from earlier. 너만 부른단 말이야. 너만, only you, 부른단 말이야. I'm saying I call out. Together, it's I'm saying I call out only you. The next line, also a repeat from earlier. 널 사랑한단 말이야. I'm saying I love you. The next line is new. 입을 막아도. 입, the mouth, followed by the particle 을. Hopefully, you can now explain what the 을을 does here. 막아도, even though I block, which together means even though I block my mouth. And here comes the last line of the part we are listening to today. 너만 부른단 말이야. 너만, only you, 부른단 말이야. I'm saying I call out. Together, it means I'm saying I call out only you. All right, we've made it. Let's listen to the chorus one more time. Now armed with our knowledge of particles and the meaning of 만.
너만 보인단 말이야. 널 사랑한단 말이야. 눈을 감아도 너만 보인단 말이야. 너만 부른단 말이야. 널 사랑한단 말이야. 입을 막아도 너만 부른단 말이야.
With that, I'll conclude today's lesson on the particle 만 here. But don't leave yet. I have 2 announcements I want to make. First, I wanted to try something fun. I'm hosting a challenge for Essential Korean podcast listeners. The terms are simple. With one of the songs I've had featured in a previous podcast episode, record yourself reciting or, if you would like, singing the part I've covered and email it to contact@essentialkorean.com. The catch and what makes this an excellent practice opportunity is that it must be memorized. Why memorized? Because once you have a few sentences or clauses memorized, they will stick with you, and in turn, you can use them to substitute different words for real-life communication spontaneously when appropriate situations call for them. I'll be going off an honor system for this. The best word will be selected to have a 1-hour private lesson with me, as well as the audio clip having a feature in our podcast. With the release of this podcast, the deadline is in 2 weeks. Remember, all our lesson recaps and transcripts for podcast episodes are on our website for your reference. And second, we are launching the Essential Korean Forum, where you can talk with other Korean learners and ask me questions about the language. I'll go over this more in next week's episode, where I'll be covering how to study Korean with general tips and tips specific to Essential Korean content. But I'm beginning with members introducing themselves in Korean and English on our welcome post. I really hope all of you give it a try. It's great practice. You get to learn about other listeners around the world, and as a bonus, member will be randomly selected from the comments for 1-hour lesson. Note that you must be a premium member on the site to access the forum, so please use the limited time founding members offer before July ends. With that, we truly conclude today's episode. I hope to hear from all of you through the forum and via the challenge. Thank you again and see you next time. 고맙습니다.